think I've had too much coffee. La, la, la. I say that as I'm like glancing over at my mug, thinking, I just have another sip. Hello, my Spoonies. Welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm going to be doing a much requested video on how I do my no makeup look, which is a lot more complicated for a Spoonie than it is for a normal person. But I have figured out some tricks that I'm going to pass along to you guys that hopefully will be helpful for those days that you want to leave the house looking natural and radiant and like you're not really wearing much, but you are. If not already done so, I would really appreciate it if you would take a minute and hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell. I am having a contest for the first 100 subscribers. All you have to do is be subscribed to my channel and leave me a comment in the comment box down below. When we hit 100, I will do a random drawing and do a giveaway of Spoonie certified makeup and skincare items. So why wouldn't you? I mean, free stuff, right? Like, I love free stuff. Speaking of free stuff, I'm also doing a birthday giveaway. I will put a link to the video where you can find all the information about that down below, and it's probably popping up here if you're on a laptop or a mobile device. And the information for the birthday giveaway is also on Insta and Twitter. My socials are probably popping up down below here as well. You can also find that information linked in the description box down below. No makeup look has really changed for me. This was something that I actually used to do back before I got sick. On the rare occasion that I wouldn't get enough sleep, or I don't know, I felt less than fabulous just on my own, I had kind of some stuff that I, very quick, right, things that I would do. And then I got sick. And any of you out there that have chronic illnesses, you know how much that changes, right? I mean, look at me. Let's be real honest here. This is not a good look. So rolling out of the house with like some little bit of moisturizer and some highlighters is not gonna cut it. The problem with being chronically ill is that you actually have to disguise your illness without making it really apparent that you're doing a bunch of things to disguise your illness. I know, sucks, right? But I am here to help. So here we go. There are a couple of rules or a couple things that you should bear in mind. The first is you really need to know your skin's undertone, whether you have a warm undertone or a cool undertone or a neutral undertone. If you're neutral, this is going to be a lot easier for you because you have a lot more options. But whatever your skin's undertone is, and for my case, it's cool, all the products that you use need to be within that same undertone, right? So I'm cool, which means I should not be using a peach blush. Don't get me wrong, I love peachy blushes. I use them a lot, right, in my makeup looks. But for a no makeup look, because of my skin's undertone, that is gonna look like I'm wearing makeup, right? And we want it to look like I'm not wearing makeup. So that's the first rule. Stick to the undertone of your skin. The second rule is stick to cream or liquid products. No powder, right? With the exception of if you're going to put on eyeshadow, and we're going to talk about that when we get there. Cream blushes, cream highlighters, liquid highlighters, right? All of that. The reason for that has to do with the way that they settle into the skin and then are interpreted by other people when they're looking at you. They just look more natural. So cream products, stick to your natural undertone. Okay. So the first thing that I do every time, without fail, is I put on moisturizer. But this time it's going to be a little bit different. I'm going to moisturize the parts of my face that I don't want to highlight. So my cheeks and the side of my nose and under my nose. In the upper parts of my forehead. Kind of down into here. Alright, I know. Seems strange, right? Now, I am going to take a liquid highlighter. This is the Wet n Wild, hello, liquid highlighter. I've talked about this before in my highlighters and storytime video where I talk about dying and how I almost died. Not to be a downer. I'm going to take a small scoop of my moisturizer, put it on the back of my hand, and then I'm going to take the highlighter and I am going to put some also on the back of my hand, and I'm going to mix these two together. The reason for this is that I want my highlighter to actually be under my sunscreen. I know that sounds strange, but we want this to be as natural as possible, and the sunscreen is going to actually help like tone down the highlighter. So hit all the places you would normally highlight. Okay. Now I need to let this set to dry because the last thing you want to do is be dragging highlighter all over your face when you're putting on your sunscreen. All right, so I let everything dry down. Nothing feels tacky anymore. Feels nice and smooth. So next step, sunscreen. Now one of the many reasons that I like using a blue tinted sunscreen, as I have talked about in the past, is that it definitely does even out your skin tone and function kind of like a tone up. And in this instance, it also helps to tone down the highlighting. Just sort of evens everything out. So parts of my face have been highlighted, but it's not nearly like, and you know I love a blinding highlight. You've been watching me for any amount of time. I'm literally like, more highlight, more better. But for a more natural look, right, we can't do that. So there we go. Highlight, sunscreen. So next, I talked about this particular product. This is the L'Oreal Magic Perfecting Base in my last video. And I said, I don't like using this as a primer, but that I had another use I discovered for it. And it's actually for this particular no makeup look. It does a phenomenal job of disguising fine lines and wrinkles. So when I am doing a no makeup look, I like to put this product any place I have something that I want to obscure. So all this has done is kind of wiped out my fine lines and wrinkles, gotten rid of, I have like this spot right here that's from a scar. And even on my forehead, you'll notice, right? A lot better. Next step should be no surprise to any of you. We're going to conceal the eyes. Now, this is a little bit different than what I normally use. This is a concealer. It's by the Sem, and it is pink. It's a brightening concealer. I would recommend going for something lighter and with a little more of a glow for this particular look. I will say I do really love the ColourPop No Filter Concealer. I did a review of it. I will link it up above. But if I put it on for a no makeup look, it's a lot harder to disguise. This pink one, because it's so pink, right? It's like pink and it's supposed to be like illuminating. I would actually recommend if you could just find a straight up illuminating under eye product to use that. If you really do need to conceal, mix this in with your concealer so that the concealer doesn't look quite so heavy. And I am not going to go like as far down or up as I normally do. I'm gonna take kind of a lighter hand. All right, now I am gonna take just a very, very, very small amount. And I do mean very small, right? Like compared to what I normally do. Okay, so face is concealed. Now to the difficult question, to eyeshadow or not to eyeshadow. This is completely up to you. I normally eyeshadow, and here is why. I'm gonna shut my eyes for you for a second. My eyelids have a lot of pigment and discoloration to them. So I'm gonna prime my eyes, but instead of using the Prime and Lock, I'm gonna be using a clear primer. Because again, I don't want a lot of pigment, right? Or a lot of anything, right? And the reason why I'm priming my eyes is because I am over 40 and I do have like some little bit of wrinkling, a little bit of creasing happening on the eyelids. Primer is going to help fight that. If you're young and you don't have that problem, well, whoop-de-doo for you, great. I'm using, this is an Armani primer. I know, don't come for me. I think I have mentioned on my channel before, I do some illustration work for Saks Fifth Avenue, and they're very sweet to me, and sometimes they give me stuff. They gave me this, so. Today I am going to be using my Morphe 25B palette. I will cut a better picture of this in. So I'm going to be using this color called Image. I will cut an image in of the image, but this is almost a perfect match for my skin tone. It is a very cool neutral shade, and I am just going to spread this all over my eyelid. So all this has done is smooth out, right, my eye area and evened out the color, right? Because even though I have color to my eyelids, it's actually kind of uneven modeled, right? Color, it's not pretty. So now, there we go. Very close to my natural, like my natural eyelid shade, just a tiny bit better, right? Next up, nude pencil. Now, a lot of times if I want to brighten my eyes, I use white. We do not want to do that here. It's going to be too obvious. So I'm going to use a nude pencil to line my waterline. All this is going to do is brighten up the whites of my eyes, but it is not going to be obvious. All right. Eyes are lined. Next up, mascara. So, again, we want to go much, much lighter. Avoid black mascara. I have black lashes. Like literally I have black, I mean, you can see I have Italian coloring. I have black lashes. But I'm gonna stick to a different color. So I'm using, this is the Maybelline Snapscara, I guess Snapscara. This comes in a variety of colors, and I am actually using the color, oh, who knows what color I'm using. I think this is called like Deep Plum. I'll look it up. I like how it doesn't, like the bottom of this doesn't actually say what color this is. This is a cool toned purple that's almost a brown, right? Much lighter on the eyelashes. So if you're a warm toned, like if you've warm undertones, you want to go for a kind of warmer orangier brown. If you're blonde, right, or you have red hair, you want to maybe go for a clear, or maybe something that's just like a fraction darker than your eyelashes if you need that extra definition. I know sometimes people with blonde eyelashes really struggle because anything they put on is going to look right like they're wearing something unless it's clear. You want to be very careful when you're doing this. You do not want to put a lot of layers on. If you have a brush, like a eyelash comb, to clean out the gunk, it's a good idea to do it if you get any gunky spots. I like this mascara because really, when I'm only putting on like one coat, I don't get a lot of like chunkies. The other thing is, do you put mascara on your bottom lashes? That is up to you. I'm going to be really honest with you. For this look, I don't. Because my bottom lashes are very, very kind of faint, naturally looking, and I feel like if I put mascara on them, it's a bit like highlighting the fact that I'm wearing makeup, if that makes sense. I know, doesn't really look like I did much, which is the point. Okay, eyes are done. Real quick, we're gonna do just a tiny bit to the brows. I'm gonna take a very small smudger brush and I'm gonna go back into my Morphe palette. I'm going to use the color Effort, which is a cool toned brown, and I'm gonna pick up just a tiny bit of pigment on my brush, and I'm just gonna fill in my brows using a tiny bit of pigment. Done. Piece of cake. All right, next up is blush. So as I have said, you want to stick to cream product. A very fantastic cream blush is one that's made by Honest Beauty. They make this in a couple different colors. They have a cool toned and a warm toned one, and I'm going to be using, of course, the cool toned one. This one is called Plum Berry. They also make kind of a peachier one that is also equally nice. You can get this at Target. So the great thing about a cream blush is it's buildable. So you want to start with a very light hand, and you want to put it on using your fingers as opposed to like a blending sponge or a brush. It goes on better. And I think it's because the heat of your hand warms the product and enables it to smooth on a lot better versus if you're using like a sponge or a brush. There's no heat there, so the product doesn't really melt into the skin as much. Now, rather than taking this into like what they call the apples of the cheeks, I'm going to concentrate actually right here under the eyes. Because if you think about it, when you get sun, 9 times out of 10, where you get sun is like right here. And it does actually really change the way that you look. It makes you look more awake because it distracts from the dark circles, and it makes you look like you've gotten a tiny bit of sun, like in a healthy way. It's just a lot younger looking. Now, if you do this and you get, woo, okay, see, I got too much on that side. So if that happens, don't panic. Wet a blending sponge and just pounce it in place. Blush is done. So last but not least is the lips, and for the lips, you want to avoid anything with glitter. You also want to avoid anything that is matte, anything with like too much shine, right? Like super slick. I mean, honestly, you could throw on like some lip balm and just be done. I like to use this product. It's made by Laneige. I will cut a better picture of this in. It is a dual toned lip balm. Okay, so you can see it's got 2 colors in the tube. This is phenomenal for doing the kind of ombre lip style that is very, very popular in Korea. I like a very light version of this for the no makeup look. Now you'll notice this is a very dark kind of plummy color. There's a theme here. I used plum blush, I used plum mascara, right? And now I'm using a little bit of plum on the lips. This is one of those like continuity things, right? Everything is gonna look more natural if they're all very, very close in tone, rate, color for unity. It's gonna look a little more natural. Okay, so I'm gonna just real quick throw this on. So all this does is it stains the inner part of the lips with a darker color, and leaves the almost transparent color on the outer part of the lips, which gives you kind of that like, I've been eating popsicles look. Last thing, should you wear a setting spray? No, you should not. Here is why. Most setting sprays have glycerin in them, and that is going to create a little bit of shine, which is going to look kind of unnatural. Instead, if you really want to try to like set your makeup, use a toner, like a spray toner of some kind. I particularly have been enjoying this. It's by Sweet Chef. It's the ginger plus vitamin D chill mist. It's supposed to like hydrate and cool your skin, which is kind of how I've been using it. But I also use it as like a makeup refresher in the middle of the day if I feel like my makeup is getting kind of ugh. This is not gonna like really lock everything into place, but you're not wearing much to begin with, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, all finished. I know this seems like kind of involved or maybe a lot of work for no makeup look. Honestly, if I'm doing this on my own and I'm not talking about each of the steps in between, I can get this look done in under 8 minutes. The hardest part about this particular look is finding the products. Once you have found the products that work for you, then you're off to the races. Like, it's very, very fast. So this is a great kind of look for if you want to go out, but you don't want to look like you're really wearing like a lot of makeup or any makeup at all, really, basically. This is, I think about this as like what I looked like before I got sick. Because honestly, this is pretty close to what I looked like before I got sick. Minus the hair, because, you know, I lost my hair from treatment, so that was fun. I guess I'd need a wig to complete that look. Sorry. Woo! Chronic illness humor, right? I mean, if you can't laugh about your hair falling out, like, what good is it? All right. I hope you guys found this helpful, and if you have any questions at all about anything, please don't be afraid to hit me up on Twitter, leave in the comment boxes down below. I hope you guys are happy, healthy, and well rested, and remembering that self-care is the most important form of care. I love you all, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.